Ladies and gents, I love hypotheticals. I love either-ors. I love interrogating people's values with these. So naturally, with this video popping off, I watched it. It hurt me though. It's a really bad video in almost every way imaginable, unless you enjoy cringe. We've got two main characters. We've got TikTok Chud and we have Ponytail Geek. TikTok Chud ambushes Ponytail Geek with an either-or. Ponytail Geek doesn't want to play the game. First things first, Ponytail Geek comes in with advantage. He's the one being ambushed. TikTok Chud could prepare whatever he wanted. He can have a ton of canned responses in preparation for what a subject of his video might respond with. He didn't prepare anything. Ponytail Geek is flying by the seat of his pants, and look, he beats him. But, just because as a social media video encounter, it's won by Ponytail Geek, doesn't mean we can't examine it a little further. And my first examination is going to be that TikTok Chud needs slightly smaller shorts. I'm gonna bet he's got this weight loss look going on. I, over the last year or so, lost 50 kilos. I was locked in a goblin cellar for multiple years during COVID. I ate a lot. I didn't exercise a lot. I dropped the weight. I haven't quite replaced my wardrobe yet, so I've got those toothpick little dancing legs. I get it. If you're gonna film yourself full body, get some new shorts. Or one of these days, someone's gonna rip them off and start eating olives with them. There's no lead up here, so I presume it's just a pure ambush. It's like, hey, would you answer a question? Or maybe not even, hey, would you answer a question? Maybe the guy just walks up in the video. I don't remember. Let's start watching it.
LGBTQ rights or economic stability?
Why can't you have both?
You need to pick one.
I refuse the question.
Ponytail Guy wins. Ponytail Guy wins right here. You can stop it here. Ponytail Guy, just walk away. If someone, look, people are like, oh, he's an idiot. He's refusing to engage with a hypothetical. Look, this isn't some debate people have agreed to. This isn't an online fight. Presumably, given the context we have, it's a random guy who gets jumped with an either-or. Perfectly fine, valid response to that is actually, fuck off, retard, and you walk away. Two huge problems with TikTok Chud. He doesn't frame it as a hypothetical. He doesn't frame it as anything. It's not like an either-or in the typical sense. Literally all he asks is A or B. Ponytail Guy asks for clarification. He asks, why can't I have both? TikTok Chud could then say, oh, it's an either-or. It's a hypothetical. If there was a situation where you had to pick, which would you pick? Just, you have to answer. You can't. Doesn't work. If you want answers, and if you want to bite someone, you have to be smoother. He's all mousetrap and no cheese. You have to make the person comfortable enough to answer, to engage. And if you're going to give them a point blank A or B, and they say, why can't we have both? You can say, if you had to pick, which one? It's that easy. This isn't you have to be a master of oration to pull this off. Just say, if you had to pick. Because without further context, just point blank A or B, why not say both? He's not refusing to engage with a hypothetical because he's not even being told it's a hypothetical. It could be polling for something, God knows what. Ponytail Geek isn't even being given terms of engagement, right?
You can't refuse the question.
Fucking fuck off. Fuck off. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. Someone walks up to you and asks you shit. Yeah, you can. If you've already agreed to engage in something, you can be like, come on, just answer it. Like, but it's just some guy. Fuck off. Ponytail Geek is winning.
I do.
But you can't.
But I did.
But you need to pick one.
No, I don't.
I just said you did.
I just said you did. Mr. TikTok does not have the presence to pull that off. He doesn't have the confidence to pull that off. He's not making this guy the pure subject of cringe. At best, it's a cringe scenario. At worst, and more realistic, given the circumstances, advantage Ponytail Geek, he was jumped. TikTok chat is cringe as hell.
So what?
Can you pick one?
No, because they're
That was way more of a power move, and he pulls it off better. The little geek smuckle. This is such a bitch move as well. The guy, maybe a touch of the tism. I hope it's not too offensive to suggest. He's got a little, what would you call it? A tick. And once TikTok chat isn't facing him, facing this beast level 100 dungeon master. Oh, for the TikTok edit, I'm gonna zoom in on his little hand movement. You little bitch. If you're gonna try and pull this, say it to him in person. Say, hey buddy, what's going on with your arm? If you're gonna try to act as a bully, do it. It's kind of pathetic. I like, and I used to talk to people in live IRL streams and present them with bizarre things. But my sort of rule of thumb is, if you're going to approach someone, one, make sure they're okay with the situation of they're on a stream, right? Not necessarily explicitly, but make sure you at least get the vibe. And then, because you're the one who's prepared, you know what's going on. They had no expectation of that. The general rule of thumb is, if someone's going to come out like a clown, it has to be you. You have to be willing to take that fall, in my opinion, in this sort of content. If you are gonna try and make other people come off as a clown, you better have your ducks in a row. You better have your stuff in order. Otherwise, it is absolutely pathetic. The let's call him an interviewer. Oh fuck, air quotes. The interviewer comes off as more nervous than Ponytail Geek. That shouldn't happen, which I guess makes him come off as a clown, but it's clear he's not taking the fall. He's just failing to be a Chad.
Both doable. No. Only one.
Messed up. So now it's not a hypothetical. The guy says they're both doable. The response is no. Only one. It's so easy. Is this guy homeschooled or something and he never hung out with other kids doing this stuff? No. If you had to choose. Even if that's the case, let's say they were in a situation where you had to choose. Not no to the assertion that they're both doable. Only one. You've had it reversed on you, brother. You've had it flipped and reversed. Ponytail Geek, in this moment, pulled out his Uno reverse card. He's taken the frame. What do the red pill guys say? He's taken the frame from you. He's shattered your frame. You're now in Ponytail Man's world, where this is a question about what will really happen.
I don't have to pick one because you can have both.
Having done that, he then asserts, I don't have to pick one because you can have both. Now he's turned it into an argument over whether they're both possible or not, and TikTok chat here is like a deer in headlights. I swear to God, if he looks at the cameraman.
But the answer is both.
He's so insecure. Oh my God. Save me! Mom! I told you to get the camera, but now I need you to tell me what to say too.
Both is not an answer. It's not a valid answer.
I reject your question.
You can't reject it.
So, to be fair, you can't reject it once you like answered it. But TikTok chat hasn't presented it in such a way that both is valid. He is still not framed this as an if you had to choose, as a hypothetical, as an either or. Obviously that's what he means, but he let this man, this grown-up recess character, take total control of the situation. Pathetic.
Can you pick one?
I don't have to
Why?
because they're both completely doable.
So LGBTQ rights or economic stability?
The repetition. He looks like he's sort of shrinking. He's not moving back, but... Oh. Compare how this guy is repeating himself to how Piers Morgan might do it. You have to be... If you are just gonna force a question, you have to be a bulldog. You have to have that steel behind you. He doesn't. He needs to stop. He needs to get some more experience dealing with adrenaline before he continues to confront people like this.
Both.
That's not an answer.
Yes, it is.
LGBTQ rights or economic stability.
Oh my god.
Trying to troll me?
No.
Economic stability. Are you trying to troll me? Maybe this guy's like a victim of abuse. Maybe the person behind the camera is a puppet master. Do we know that TikTok Chud isn't like some special needs kid who was forced to wear these clothes? Is that why the shorts are too big? Because there's someone else's clothes and he's been forced out here?
I'm just wondering which one you like more.
I like them both.
You can't have both.
Yes, you can.
Not in this question.
So close. So close. Literally just say, if you had to pick. He almost did it. He almost brought it round to... He didn't... It's less sophisticated. He didn't bring it around to a hypothetical. He brought it to, which one do you like more? But then couldn't handle the, oh, I like them both equally answer. Jesus Christ.
Not in this question.
Little shake, little toddler shoulder shake, limp-wristedly flapping his little black rod. You
Too bad.
Why are you trolling me right now?
too bad.
Because I don't have.
We've gone from a spicy either or ambush to why are you trolling me?
Have to choose.
All right, what if I had to ask you gender inclusivity or economic stability?
You can have both.
That's his trump card.
Both.
You can't. Why you make this so difficult? I'm trying to pass my final.
Too bad.
What?
Which one do you pick?
I pick them both.
But that's not a valid answer.
Too bad.
What was that cut?
Which one do you pick?
I pick them both.
But that's not a valid answer.
Why was there a cut? How long did he hesitate just then, in reality? It obviously has to be snipped for TikTok. If you want to keep it snappy. And there are a lot of snips in this video. How long do you think that was?
Answer.
Too bad. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, fluoride stare, fluoride stare. So yeah, I agree. Ponytail Geek, absolute victor. Started with advantage, better performance. But his victory really comes just from the incompetence and how terrible TikTok Chud performed. Right? Because if someone answers both to an either or, you can then move forward with, well, what are the consequences of choosing both? If you are presented with needing to choose A or B, and you say both, what does that mean? That means in any scenario where one faces the other, you're unwilling to make a compromise, you're unwilling to sacrifice one. So, in a hypothetical situation where, let's say, you had to make a choice that would sacrifice economic stability to protect LGBT rights, Ponytail Geek, would you say no because you think there must be another option? Right? You can parallel it with a trolley problem and say, hey, so your answer would be to do nothing or not to act on this opportunity because you think another one will show up. Okay? Runs over 10 people. You have to sacrifice economic stability to protect LGBTQ rights. Somehow, for whatever reason, it's a hypothetical. You don't actually need the specifics. You do nothing? You'd let it roll? Would you apply the position that if faced with that choice, you would do nothing, or while the time is ticking down, just go, there has to be a better solution. There has to be a better solution. I have to never sacrifice any amount of either, so just wait and think. Oops. It's hard to come up with a good hypothetical scenario off the top of my head, but let's go with anti-LGBTQ death squads have popped up all over the country. They're exterminating the gays. It would cost such a massive amount to stop them that it would really actually hurt the economy quite badly. Government has to borrow more, panic move, prints money, inflation increases. Good scenario off the top of my head, like I said, tricky. Would your response be, well, you know, I like LGBTQ rights and I like having a stable, healthy economy perfectly equally, so whichever way we go, I feel exactly the same. What does I'm not going to pick because we can have both, or what does which one do you like more? Both. What does that mean? What's the logical consequence of that? How does that apply when you take it out of the raw A or B question? You can, of course, refuse to talk to someone. You can, of course, reject a question, refuse to answer a question. But Ponytail Guy did answer the question. As a way of blowing TikTok Chud off, cool. As an actual answer, and this is sort of why I think, while, yes, in terms of dealing with an obnoxious asshole with a TikTok channel, absolute victory. In terms of actually dealing with what's presented, no. It's a no contest. It didn't happen on that level. And yet, what I'm seeing in discussion of it is people saying, oh, he was presented with a false dichotomy. It wasn't necessarily, from the start at least, before TikTok Chud completely fucked up and accepted the framing that it is a question about real life and choosing one. It wasn't necessarily about real life. TikTok Chud does say it's about which one you like more, but that got what? He failed to assert that. It's not a false dichotomy. So many people are saying this because it's hypothetical. A hypothetical doesn't have to be sound. It can't. Unless there's a logical contradiction, it can't really be a false dichotomy. Because in your hypothetical, no other choice exists. Another assertion I see is that this was asked in bad faith. As far as even relevance of that, to me that would suggest, oh, he's asking to get something out of the guy to then nail him with something he has pre-prepared. There's an ulterior motive. Essentially, it's a trap. He's going to make it seem like he's going to make it seem like it's an either or, and then he's going to take it somewhere else. One, so what? Two, I really don't think TikTok Chud has the capacity to pull that off. I believe it was just meant to be an either or. Throw it in their face, get them to stumble, get it for the TikTok reel. Which again is why, in not stumbling, Ponytail Geek wins. In terms of a rational debate victory, oh, his rejection was principled. He was refusing to engage with a bad faith, false dichotomy. No. He was getting some little Zoomer dickhead to fuck off. That's the win. Don't take that and turn it into something it's not. Anyway, to wrap up this review, I would have liked to have seen TikTok Chud do just the barest minimum to get Ponytail Geek to engage with the either or as it was meant to be engaged with. Just a little bit of give. He can't pull off the bully persona. So just be like, no, if you had to choose, which one would you pick? Formulate it into some sort of scenario, if you have to. Be prepared to say, hypothetically, if there was a scenario where you had to pick one or the other, and then if the guy says, that wouldn't happen, maybe have a scenario, come up with a scenario. What would you do in this tell him a little story and say, in that story, what would you do? Alternatively, I wouldn't behave like this, but if I did, my next step on a refusal to answer would be to say, oh, I'd choose LGBTQ rights if they came into conflict. Why wouldn't you? That's the fun one. That's the fun path. That is some bad faith bait. The ulterior motive is to get you to fucking stumble and get you in trouble with a faux pas caught on tape. But that's a fucking asshole move to a random person. Pull that shit on political content creators. Pull that shit on people who know what they're going to engage on, not on a random guy. Or in a friendlier way, show that you'd be willing to participate. Give them a model. Show that you're willing to put your skin in the game on camera. Answer it in the way you'd like them to answer it. Not this specific answer, but engage with the hypothetical or the either or, how you'd like to see them do it. Do it first, show that you'd do it, as a persuasive measure. On the flip side, on the receiving end of being hit with that, what I'd want to do is dig into what exactly is meant. LGBTQ rights. Like what? Do you mean people who say they're gay having the right to life? Or do you mean a legal right to gay marriage? Economic stability. Are we talking if I say, no, I'll go with the LGBTQ rights, do we mean total economic collapse? Or do we mean sort of scuffed inflation? Answers may vary depending on how those two things are defined.